It is now my honor and privilege to present His Excellency Mr. Yang, a highly accomplished diplomat and a statesman whose career has spanned decades of dedicated service to his country and Cameroon and the global community. His Excellency Mr. Yang served as Prime Minister and Head of Government for Cameroon and has held various and other high-ranking positions in the government as Vice Minister for Territorial Administration, Minister of Mines and Energy, and Minister Deputy Secretary General at the Presidency of the Republic. Internationally, Mr. Yang made a significant impact during his tenure as Cameroon's High Commissioner to Canada, where he also served for 14 years as the Dean of the Diplomatic Corps. He has led Cameroonian delegations to key economic summits in Washington, D.C., London, New Delhi, and beyond. He also played an instrumental role as a chairperson of the panel of eminent Africans of the African Union since 2020, contributing to pivotal decisions on leadership within the Union. At the United Nations, Ambassador Yang served as chairperson of the Intergovernmental Committee for the Cartagena Protocol on Biodiversity, addressing global challenges such as biodiversity and environmental protection. Throughout his tenure, Mr. Yang has been a steadfast advocate for inclusive dialogue, multilateral engagement, and leadership that supports the role of civil society. Once again, we are very delighted to have the President of the 79th session of the General Assembly with us, His Excellency Mr. Philemon Yang, with us today to share his vision and priority. And we will first hear his remarks, and then we'll take the questions from the floor, and we look forward to a very interesting discussion. Excellency, the floor is yours.
Thank you very much for giving me the floor. Ladies and gentlemen, members of the civil society, I begin by welcoming you all to the United Nations and to this town hall meeting. Let me take a moment to acknowledge the remarkable diversity in this room. You all come from different backgrounds, cultures, and hold varying perspectives of the world and of society. Yet you are united in the pursuit of a better world for all, proving that diversity is indeed our strength. This is what I call unity in diversity in my vision statement for the 79th session of the United Nations General Assembly. Let me also take the opportunity to commend you as civil society representatives for your engagement with the United Nations. You are an integral part of what the Charter refers to as we the peoples. Our global challenges require a collective, all-hands-on-deck solution which includes each and every one of you, members of the civil society. I look forward to listening to you today and to engaging with you throughout the 79th session of the General Assembly. Colleagues, dear friends, as we explore potential avenues on which we may collaborate, allow me to outline the priorities that will be pursued during the 79th session of the General Assembly of the United Nations. These priorities are likely my signature events, which add to the mandates bestowed upon the 79th session by the General Assembly. Though wide-ranging, these priorities are deeply interconnected and embody our commitment to a more just, secure, and prosperous world. They reflect the needs of our world today and are rooted in the three pillars of the United Nations, namely human rights, sustainable development, peace, and security. They are as follows. First, advocating for compliance with international law in situations of armed conflict. Only weeks ago, we addressed this question during the informal interactive dialogue on preserving human dignity in armed conflict, promoting compliance with international humanitarian law. Appalling violations of international humanitarian law can neither continue nor go unpunished, for even wars have rules. Second, the total elimination of child labor. This scourge continues to rob millions of children of their dignity, well-being, and the formative years of their youth, years that should be dedicated to growth, development, and pursuing an education. Third, scaling up action on the Sustainable Development Goals. We intend to achieve this goal through efforts to fix international development finance and unlocking much-needed resources, as well as through capitalizing advances in digital technologies. Fourth, tackling the threat posed by small arms and light weapons on development. This problem can only be solved comprehensively, and here I intend to partner with the President of the Economic and Social Council. And finally, focusing on the multifaceted aspects of peace and security in Africa and the future of peacekeeping. In this regard, we would like to look at Africa's potential to lead peacekeeping operations. Moreover, throughout this session, we will also focus on implementing the Pact for the future. The Pact is not just a declaration, it is a commitment, and together we must turn it into action through implementation. As such, I intend to hold 3 interactive dialogues with the member states on the implementation of the Pact in March, May, and July 2025, looking at the means of implementation, the monitoring and evaluation of the actions, and looking ahead to 2028 when the Pact will be reviewed. Chers collègues, dans chacun de ces efforts, la société civile est indispensable. Les organisations de la société civile ont souvent une compréhension approfondie de défis spécifiques auxquels sont confrontées les communautés locales, une compréhension qui peut renforcer et éclairer les politiques plus larges des Nations unies. En effet, ces organisations constituent l'épine dorsale de démocratie saine, jouant un rôle crucial dans la promotion du progrès, en promouvant l'engagement civique, en défendant les droits de l'homme et en fournissant des services essentiels aux communautés. Elles servent de pont entre la politique mondiale et les communautés locales, incarnant l'essence même de nous, les peuples, we the peoples. Nous dépendons de leur passion et engagement inlassable pour faire avancer les choses. Par le biais de leurs réseaux locaux et de leurs plaidoyers, les organisations de la société civile contribueront à garantir que les engagements mondiaux se traduisent par les engagements mondiaux, pour que les engagements mondiaux se traduisent par des changements significatifs sur le terrain répondant aux besoins réels de communautés du monde entier. As President of the General Assembly, I am steadfast in my commitment to amplify the voices of civil society organizations and look forward to exploring how we can best engage with them towards our shared goals. And I would welcome your suggestions as we move forward, recognizing that this must always be an evolving process. It is a process, and we all know that a process is not an event which takes place for one day or for a week. My dear friends, by working alongside and empowering civil society, we can accelerate our efforts towards a world that is more just, equitable, and peaceful. A world where everyone has access to quality education, health care, and economic opportunities. A world where human rights are not just proclaimed, but respected, protected, and upheld in all circumstances. A world where globalization and interdependence do not divide us, but unite us in collective action to confront the challenges that threaten our shared future. I thank you all for your dedication to building that world that is to come, and look forward to your questions. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Your Excellency. And I would like to also acknowledge, of course, that with us here is Undersecretary General Guy Ryder and the Chief of Staff of His Excellency PGA, Mr. Ivor Fong. So the first question, we put out a call. We have received several questions just so that we have an orderly session and be able to complete on time. People who have been sitting here will be asking the questions, and we'll start with the first question from Yassine Fathallah from Tunis, and he will ask it in Arabic. So if you want to use your earpiece, Yassine, I assume you don't know, you know this. You press when you see the light go red, then you can speak. And please introduce yourself, where you're from, and then go ahead with your question.
Good morning everybody. أسعد الله صباحكم بكل خير. أنا أعرف روحي ياسين فتحلي، شاب تونسي ممثل عن منظمة جسور الشبابية. صاحب السعادة مستر فيلمان يانغ، رئيس الدورة 79 الجمعية العامة للأمم المتحدة. كيف يمكن ضمان أن يكون ميثاق المستقبل ليس مجرد إعلان نوايا، بل إطار عمل ملموس لتحقيق التغيير الفعلي؟ سؤالي: كيف يمكننا كمجتمع عالمي تحويل الرؤية التي تم تحديدها في ميثاق المستقبل إلى أعمال ملموسة قابلة للقياس، تعطي الأولوية لأصوات الفئات الأكثر تهميشاً، الشباب والنساء والمجتمعات الأصلية، مما يضمن أنهم ليسوا فقط أصحاب مصلحة، بل مشاركين فاعلين في تشكيل المستقبل الذي نريد بناءه. وشكراً.
Excellency.
Thank you for this timely question. The Pact for the Future is not just a declaration, it is a commitment made by all the heads of states of the countries which are members of the UN General Assembly. We adopted the Pact. We must now take action to implement the said Pact. I think we can agree that the Pact must be anchored in accountability, inclusivity, and sustained implementation. While the Pact provides a roadmap to accelerate progress, challenges such as debt, the digital divide, and climate change continue to hold us back. We must mobilize the necessary means of implementation to bridge the gaps. This requires political will, financial mobilization, knowledge sharing, and targeted technical assistance. Technology transfer and enhanced international cooperation are also essential, as are public-private partnerships. For the Pact to be truly transformative, it must remain a political priority, backed by strong accountability, sustainable financing, and inclusive governance at all levels. That requires that all of us work together towards the implementation. For my part, I will hold a series of dialogues with member states on the implementation of the Pact of the Future, beginning in March, to help advance this conversation. It is my hope that others will follow suit in contributing to this effort. I would encourage United Nations regional and country offices, in partnership with civil society and host governments, to convene their own dialogues on the local level so that we can implement the Pact together. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Your Excellency.